Hi, this is Mahesh Ravi, and in this video, we're going to talk about designing for cognitive load. So, before we get into the topic, let's try and understand what exactly is cognitive load. Cognitive load refers to the amount of information our working memory can process at any given time. To make it much more simpler, it is the prerequisite knowledge that you need to have to do any action. So, if you look at this example, what is the prerequisite knowledge that you need to have to use a stet? Um, so you need to have a certain amount of knowledge to use a stethoscope, right? So that is cognitive load. So if a person who doesn't know anything about a set might not actually be connecting it correctly, might not be able to check the heartbeat correctly. So that is cognitive load. Now, why or how is cognitive load relevant in design is what we are going to look at. We can actually reduce the amount of cognitive load from a user to use our design, which actually makes them easier and faster to recognize and use our product. So a design needs to be self-explanatory with its functionality that doesn't require too much of cognitive load from the user. For example, if you take a look at these two buttons, the one on the left side, which has just the pen icon, requires a little more effort from us to understand that it's an edit button. But on the right side, it's very clear with the pen button, pen icon, and also the edit your blog text. It's very evident that that button is for editing your blog. That requires very least amount of cognitive load from the user. So let's do a task and then see how this looks in action. So we have a task right here. It's a create the UI of a blogging platform's home screen. So the UI of the home screen of a blogging platform. The first thing that before we actually get into the task is to understand what is that the blogging platforms do. It basically lets you do two things. So one is read and write. These are the two things that a blogging platform will let you do. And we have to design the UI based on these two things. And while we are designing, we need to make sure that our design is not complicated and it is very easy for the user to understand. So let's get started with this and I'll walk you through the process and I'll also explain how did I apply that in the design. So let's get started with Figma here. So I'm in Figma right now. I'm going to start with a new design file and let's create a frame and let's go with MacBook Air. And we will actually make it a little lengthy because it's a blogging platform and we might actually need a little more length in the file. So we are going to the top. So there are two major things that the blogging platform should do, and as we said, they should be able to read content and they should be able to write. So I'm just going to make this a little bigger so that you can see this. Okay, they should be able to read it and also they should be able to write blog into it. So these are the basic two actions that we are going to, I'm going to keep it to the side so that we can always look at this and make sure that these two actions are self-explanatory in the blog. So let's work on the first part, that letting them write a blog. So they are in the blogging platform at this point. So the first thing that we need to make sure that how to write a blog needs to be very clear to the audience. So what we'll try and do is we'll create a text that says write your first blog. So when the user comes into the UI, they know that they are in a blogging platform definitely, but we are not actually telling them, giving them sign up options and all that and confuse them because it might actually take a little time for them to process. Instead of asking them to sign up to our platform, we're going to put it in a different way. Write your first blog. When they click on this, then all the sign in things will come there. But it is very clear in the home screen that this is the step that you have to take to write your first blog. So let's do that. We wrote this. I will just make sure that the text is not this big. This is okay. So we will and keep it right here. I'm going to create a box also. I want this to be sort of highlighted, right? So I'm just going to go here, make the thing a little rounded, and I sort of change the color to black. fill, and I'll just move it behind the text. Let's change the text color to white. So we have this right now. This is how we sort of initiated our first task. So they can, it's very, very clear that this is where they have to click to write the blog. No, let's say that there are two kind of things that you can do, right? So there are people who wants to write blogs. There are people who just want to go to a blogging platform and read. So if we actually put that or hide that into a button, that might not be the good thing for their cognitive load, right? They should be able to start reading immediately here. So what we can do is we can actually arrange the topics right here. So I'm just going to duplicate this text, bring it here, and the blog titles, I'm going to put it here. So blog title, and maybe another smaller text, which is going to be the body, a small summary of what the blog is all about. Maybe I would write here the time that requires for this block to be read. I'll just make it a little smaller. Also, I think I can actually bring in the category of this blog post as well right here, so tech. So this can be the title of the blog unit. So what I can do is I can just maybe make some more copies here just to see how the layout actually looks like. So this is a basic structure. So when they come here, so two of these actions, we actually made it very evident for the reader. They can click here to write their first blog if they want to write. If they want to read, they just have to click these titles. It's really evident, and it doesn't require any sort of cognitive effort. And the blog title sort of says the title. The summary says what it is all about. It says it's a 2-minute read and what the category of this is about. This is again reducing the amount of guess work that the user has to do because it's out there. We are giving them right there. So we're doing it like that. There can be additional things that will be added to it. So I'm just going to give a quick makeover to this stuff and let's see the final design that I came up with. Right, so we are here at the final design. Right, so you can see I've added some aesthetic elements into it. I have changed the typography, but the things that we started with is basically here. So if you go to the 100% view of here, so right, your first blog is right here. You can see that if you scroll down, the other elements of read is right here. So you can see the time that is required to read the article, the category of the article, the heading, the summary, and a read more section here. And a couple of additions that I have added to make it more user-friendly or beginner-friendly is that if you want to read just dedicated content, so I just want to see music-related content, there are buttons that you can click and then you can see only those content. Very self-explanatory here. And there is another link here. When you are writing your blog, you can go here and you can see only the articles that you wrote. Now, I added some aesthetic elements in here as well. I just added some experiments, like a featured article is going to be sort of like a cutaway style in here. There are other articles which are numbered, so you can go to next pages and you can continue reading that. So all of this stuff actually makes the experience really, really clear. So this is the main thing about cognitive. When you are actually thinking about reducing the cognitive load that is required from the user, your designs becomes more functional and users will have a better experience using them. So I hope this video was useful and start using that in your next design project. I'll see you with another video till then.